Listen, be still. Gently shake this little bell. If your heart is kind, a sound like nothing you've ever heard will softly ring. Your worries, your quiet sorrows will drift away, and then, in the place, softly, gently, a small light of happiness will begin to grow. On a southern island lived a young bird all alone. His name was Wayan. His father had died in a typhoon 2 years earlier, and his mother had been taken by a tornado the year before. The island had once been peaceful and gentle. But lately, enormous storms unlike anything the island had ever known had to arrive almost every year. One day, old Grandpa Maid, who always warned the island about the weather, cried out loudly, "Pee, pee, a great rain is coming, a great rain is coming." Wayan, pecking happily at nuts without a care, laughed when he heard the warning. "It's only rain," he said dismissively. But soon, dark black clouds rolled in from the western sky, and within moments, a fierce downpour began. Wayan hurried home, feeling slightly uneasy. Still, he tried to reassure himself. "It's not a typhoon, just rain. Grandpa Maid always exaggerates." But the rain would not stop. Just when it seemed to weaken, another roaring torrent crashed down. "Savu! Wabar!" As if giant buckets of water were being poured from the sky. At last, the nearby river overflowed, and floodwaters rushed toward the village. Wayan's tiny home stood no chance. In a single moment, it was swept away. The next morning, the rain finally stopped, and blue skies returned. Wayan had barely escaped with his life. Why? Why does this keep happening to me again and again? His anger burned hotter and hotter inside him. B. And once anger took over, trouble followed. Wayan began taking out his frustration on everyone around him. On the ground, he noticed a tiny hole. An ant had carefully cleaned away the mud and finally reopened the entrance to its little home. Wayan cruelly dropped a pebble into the hole and blocked it shut. Next, he came upon a caterpillar's home. The caterpillar had worked so hard gathering leaves and repairing it after the storm, but Wayan flapped his wings wildly and blew the little leaf house completely apart. The flying leaves drifted through the air and landed right on the nose of a frog who had been peacefully taking a nap. The frog didn't mind water at all, but having his nostrils blocked by leaves was another matter. Pwa! Ha! Pfa! Jero! With a gigantic sneeze, the frog leapt awake in surprise. But even after all that, Wayan's heart did not feel calm. Instead, he only felt sadder. Perching quietly on a tree branch, Wayan looked up and noticed something sparkling gently above him. Wayan reached out and picked it up. At that very moment, a tree fairy appeared softly from the forest light. The fairy smiled and said, "That bell was entrusted to me by your father and mother. It is called a gamelan bell. Whenever sorrow or worry feels too heavy to bear, listen carefully and gently shake it. If your heart is kind, a beautiful sound like anything you ever heard will softly ring. Pain and sadness will quietly drift away, and happiness will awaken inside your heart." Wayan truly did have a kind heart, and so the sound of the gamelan bell rang beautifully for him. How beautiful. I feel brave again. Yes, I'll build a new home. From that day on, Wayan worked together with the island's friends. Together, they built new homes, new roads, and new bridges. Wayan treasured the silver bell his parents had left for him and lived peacefully and happily with his friends on the island. I created this Balinese picture book story hoping to gently reflect on the importance of protecting nature, inspired by the increasing natural disasters caused by climate change in recent years. Wayan is a common Balinese name traditionally given to the firstborn child. In Bali, you can find Wayans everywhere. The silver bell is inspired by the Balinese folk craft known as the gamelan ball, a small silver bell with a gentle, mysterious sound. Let's learn about Bali Island and Balinese kids' stories. Bali, part of Indonesia, known all over the world as a resort island, has its own unique cult based on religious origins. The Balinese people are Hindu, while those in the rest of Indonesia are devoted to Islam. Balinese Hinduism is different from the original Indian Hinduism in a number of ways, and it has its own unique characteristics. The people of Bali, who are mostly farmers, are devout Hindu believers, and their lifestyle is based on their religion. The arts of gamelan music, Balinese dance, painting, wood carving, batik, etc., are all influenced by this aspect of Balinese life. In each Balinese village, there are many children's stories, some unique to that area. Such stories have always been communicated as an oral tradition from parents to children and are rarely written down in book form. There are adventure stories to inspire the child's imagination, stories about animals and stories to teach the importance of peaceful coexistence. There are so many that it is increasingly important to make a record of them before they disappear.